It's that time of year. Cram into your suit or dress and sweat it up on every Saturday in July and August. Peak wedding season is almost upon us. In our 6th episode, we're going to discuss weddings with pitches along the way to improve the entire experience. So tell your Aunt Beth to put down that gigantic iPad that she's using as a camera at the church and use it instead to take a listen to what we have to say about weddings. And by the way, Pitch Guys is not meant for young listeners. We will be stopping throughout the podcast to check IDs, so please have them ready.
Trevor, you're wedded most recently.
Yeah, thank you.
It's
very nice of you to say.
Any knowledge you gleaned through that experience?
It's just been great. It's been smooth sailing.
So how long has it been for you?
Not quite a year, so I feel like I'm in it. I'm a veteran. Yep.
Do you have a lot of wisdom from that year?
I think I do. Yep.
Are there things that you never would have predicted about your first year of marriage?
Just how unbelievably great it is, and I'm assuming will stay and not change at all. And just, everything ramps up, the passion. If you thought you were making out okay before, you really hit the jackpot after you say I do. And I'm sure you guys find that as well.
This is all very flattering, actually. Your wife must listen to the podcast. She listens to the podcast,
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think she supports me in that way. I don't think she even knows we do this. She's got her things, I've got mine. And I think that's part of a healthy marriage right there.
Yeah, that's true.
You need a basement and an upstairs.
Yeah, no, I mean, an unhealthy marriage, she'd be sitting in our 4th chair right now.
Yeah.
And she'd be telling you what to say, but that's not her. She doesn't do that.
Nope.
No, right, Trevor's wife?
She's no puppet master.
She didn't even say anything, so we're good.
But she does get us ice for our drinks, which is
true.
nice.
Yeah. No, I would say everything went off perfectly, and I think I nailed it right out of the gate. And a bit of a cost to the wedding, I found. Bit of a cost.
Weddings can be expensive.
Yeah, they can be. Yeah. And we didn't really go too extravagant with ours either. It was classy, but within our means, which I think was good.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell us, what were some of the classiest touches of your wedding?
We spent 3/4 of the budget on a diamond.
Midgets.
No. No.
Sorry, little people.
Little people. Like an episode ago, you were complaining that the actor from Game of Thrones didn't possibly get enough respect in Hollywood for his stature, and then you go and hamstring him and every other person like him this way.
I don't know. I just have
I was gonna say
in my head.
I was gonna say the diamond grill I had inserted into my mouth that said "I do" cost a lot of our budget, and in retrospect, it was unnecessary.
Yeah.
Right. Well, chronologically, then, so Derek, you'd be next. How many years have you been married?
7.
Dead man walking.
7. Wow, 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
That's a lucky number.
Good.
And what have you learned in your 7 years of marriage?
Oh, golly. Don't leave your socks out.
That's true.
Put your stuff away.
Mm-hmm.
Before I got married, I sought advice from people, and one person said, "Don't sweat the small stuff," and another person said, "Deal with the small stuff, and then the big stuff will work itself out." And at the time, I had a real issue with this, these two pieces of advice, which seemed to go against each other. But then, after being married for a while, it seems to make sense that you work through small things like clean up after yourself, but then you don't worry too much about little. You don't dwell on little things
like underwear.
Yeah, like underwear is okay. Socks you put away. Right. There's just, you got to set your lines, your boundaries.
It's actually healthy to sweat, because if you don't, you might have really clogged pores.
Yeah.
That's true. That's actually very important.
You could overheat.
Yeah.
Important aspect of a marriage in general is just
sweating.
Yeah. Sweat it up.
You got to sweat it out.
That's true.
Yep. Yeah. Treat your marriage like a sauna.
Al, what about yourself?
21 years as of a couple of days ago.
Well done.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And we got married when I was 10, so
so that's good.
it was arranged.
No
and,
consent really there. Just thought you were playing house.
It's great because actually she's about 80 right now, and I don't think she's got that many years left in her. So no, I'm joking.
Nest egg.
Yeah, 21 years. I don't know what to say. I think learn to say yes occasionally, and you become a lot less selfish when you get married. If you're going to succeed in marriage, you're going to have to be selfless to some degree. But
If I buy a bag of chips, I share half with my wife. That's a rule.
yeah, always. Like even the big Costco bags.
When she sees the bag of chips, then I share half of the chips with her.
What if she takes like one extra? She reaches back in for one extra chip.
I don't care. You can't sweat the small stuff.
All right.
No.
Yep. If she doesn't see the chips, then I don't have to share them.
if we've got a pizza and it's like there's 8 slices in it, if she gets 5, I'm not going to yell at her about that. I've learned that. I mean, it's not worth it. So
You've learned to order 2 pizzas next time.
exactly.
Happy pizza wife,
Hide
happy
one.
pizza life.
That is what you do.
Keep one.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you have a backup pizza that you just keep in the basement.
She has no idea that you've ever ordered it, and it's all good.
Yeah,
so,
it's just there. Perfect.
do you like going to weddings? Do you enjoy the process? We're not talking about getting married, but actually being invited and going to a wedding.
Well, it's a bit awkward for me to say because I'm going to one this weekend.
So the answer to that is yes. I love it.
I'll tell you the truth. Weddings are not a terrible experience. It's a party.
Yeah.
But there's a big difference between being a guest at a wedding without a job and being a guest at a wedding with a job.
Oh,
True.
I much rather not have any responsibilities if I'm going to a wedding.
yeah. Like just because I know how to run a video camera doesn't mean I should be your damn videographer.
Just because I know, hey, that was a dig at me, wasn't it?
No, did I? I didn't do videography.
You might have put a few $1,000s worth of photography, videography into my wedding. I emceed this kind of lackluster wedding once, and I really knocked that one out of the park. And then I emceed Derek's wedding as well.
Yeah, it was okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
It was all right.
No,
I don't think I was invited.
I
I've
got
emceed
some
several
complaints
weddings
about
now,
it.
so that's one of my steady gigs is emceeing. And another one I had once was candlelighter, but I screwed that up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You don't want to screw up candlelighter.
No.
On paper, it's one of the least important jobs, but if you mess it up, it becomes a real big deal. Yep.
A friend of mine had to MC his colleague's wedding, and he didn't really know the work colleague that well. They'd been working together for about a year, and the guy was a little bit unusual. And when he went up to do his thank yous, instead of doing his thank yous, he actually berated the bride's parents and said, "You said I would never amount to anything, and it looks like I've shown you." And then my friend had to go up and
Smooth that over.
smooth it all over after this really
He used it as a shame.
exactly.
Wow.
So that would be a little bit uncomfortable, but
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I like the event. I like the, you don't get a lot of opportunity necessarily in everyday life to dress up, and go out, to
dress up like
get a bunch of people together to like celebrate, 2 people. Usually you know a lot of people, so you can go hang out. You see people you don't necessarily see all the time. You get to like hide and avoid the people you don't want to see. You get to dance.
True.
I always like to dance.
I think everybody should have to get married in January, at least in Canada, though, because when you have to wear a dress shirt and a jacket,
That is true.
and it's July and it's 30 degrees, at least where we live, that's uncomfortable. I'd rather do it when it's cool out.
This is true.
In January.
Yeah.
If we're being progressive, let's keep on improving where we can
Right.
improve.
Summer is for summer. Wedding season is winter.
I guess that's a pitch for whoever controls weddings in general.
Also, no weddings over long weekends.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, don't take my Thanksgiving and get married on that.
Yeah. Let's see how much our friends like us.
I got married on a long weekend. I'm sorry.
Did you?
Yeah, you did.
Sorry about that.
Which long weekend was
Easter.
it? Oh, Easter.
Yeah.
Well, I can think of no better weekend to have a wedding
To celebrate.
than the weekend in which Christ was resurrected.
Yeah.
Right.
So
It's a good time.
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You hid chocolate eggs in the bride's gown, and
So let's just put this into perspective. On the Friday, the crucifixion, you were having your bachelor party, which seems a little insensitive. And then on Saturday, I'm not enough of a Christian to really comment.
No,
on
I don't
this
know the
stuff,
timeline
but,
either.
I'm sure it didn't happen over a weekend either. But so you guys got married on the day in between, and then on the day Jesus rose, you were having your like gift opening.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was worthwhile. It worked out okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, things are cheaper
Yeah.
to rent.
Yeah, it worked out great.
You got married in church.
Yes.
Okay. You got married in a church.
Yes, I did.
I did not.
Where'd you get married?
Out in nature.
Oh.
My wife and I were not real church-going people, and we just said, if we're going to get married, we don't know if we're actually going to go to this church, so we didn't want to be hypocrites. So we decided we're just going to do it out
Out in
the
nature.
open.
And is that when you were in that nudist colony? So you could just...
It was.
just everything could fly free.
All natural. Yep.
I was invited to participate in a nudist wedding ceremony once. I did not go. I think it was a self-confidence issue on my part, but
Wow.
I was both intrigued and afraid at the same time.
You're serious?
Yeah, serious.
You know what would be the most stressful part of that? If you were in charge of the ring, you don't have any pockets.
Yeah.
Like, you just got to, like, hold on to it the whole time.
Just keep it in your sweaty palm.
I can think of a few spots where you could probably put it, although the groom might not be too happy.
Awkward
with it.
afterward.
Right, especially if it got stuck on there. So.
That ring would go on the finger pretty
So
easily.
speaking of the ring, that's kind of like how it all gets started. Right?
That's true,
You
Jared.
gotta start with that presentation of the ring. So like, what does that look like? What's the ideal proposal look like?
Yeah. That's,
there's
that's part of it, isn't it?
It's kind of stressful, I think, to come up with that ideal proposal. Mine was I have to admit, very spur of the moment. My wife is not from Canada, so she had been living here in the country with me for about 6 months, and we'd been dating before that. And she had to go back. Basically, her visa had expired, and it was time to go back. And on the way back to the airport, when I was driving her there, I had this feeling that I couldn't just let her go back. I had to seize the moment and take action. So I pulled over to the side of the road. I got over onto her side of the car, opened the door, got on one knee, and I proposed to her on the spot. We didn't even have a ring. Actually, we went and bought the ring later that day, but it was very impulsive. But I was living in the moment, so I didn't have the chance to plan it out. But I think it worked out pretty damn well at 21 years. So
That was very like romantic comedy-esque. She's just about to leave, and then
you're right.
I mean, you didn't like fall apart and then come back together, but
Or you were afraid at that point she hadn't seen a lot of men yet. And once she did, your shot was done.
That's true.
Also, if you gotta manage that correctly. If you suddenly swerve the car off the road into the shoulder, get out of your side without any explanation, and then go and start tugging open their door, you got to have a pretty good bond already, or they think you're going to kill them. So you must have.
mine was more like hyper planned, but
Get a spreadsheet.
I'd spent a long time on the hunt for like this perfect ring, which in retrospect is a sham, because everything is like, you got to spend this much money on a ring or you're a bad human. She will not accept your proposal.
What is it? The rule is 6 years salary.
7 years salary. Yeah, something like that. And so by that
Can't
time,
just buy shaved dice.
Yeah.
you save it all up and you go to spend this wad of cash, and then afterwards you're like, hold on, this was not worthwhile. We took a train through the mountains.
Ooh.
And we stopped along the route at one of her favorite locations, and we got out and
Is it root?
route.
You say
It's similar,
potato, I say potato.
Yeah, it's pretty similar.
It's not potato.
I agree with you to disagree. And
What are we talking about?
I had this big like kind of speech-ish plan. My like theater background had kind of
Yes.
like I had kind of worked out a bit of a monologue.
Oh my god!
And
Yeah.
I'd like
Did you workshop it?
I'd like rewritten it a bunch of times, and
Did
it was
you bring
like,
your own lighting?
It was good, and then I I set up the light. I turned on the soundtrack.
You had a soundtrack.
No, I didn't. But I was so nervous that I was like going to lose something that I kind of lost some of it. But afterwards, my wife, she doesn't remember anything that I said, so it didn't really matter at all.
Was she drunk or?
No, she just
cocaine,
like blacked out as soon as I started, and so
well, she honestly,
she has no recollection of it.
She lost consciousness?
No, she just was like very excited and then just like
overwhelmed.
She doesn't recall anything. She recalled that she said yes, but that was about it.
Oh.
Well, I'm crying inside.
Yeah,
right
it was
You
nice.
can add a train to anything.
nice.
It
Sounds a little more romantic than mine. Jesus, train.
It was
now that I think about your proposal,
Mine is pretty
yours involved
crappy.
a car.
we each
I
have
mean,
our
if
own.
I could go back, I would have had little people waiting at that spot.
What is with you?
No, if you have a plane story, that would make that planes, trains, and automobiles solidified here. But
I don't.
okay,
I don't have a plane story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Trevor, what about you then? I mean, I know
You
that's
both
kind of
were.
condescending because I was there, but
Yeah.
I actually recorded the whole thing.
Yeah, that's true. You did.
Yeah.
I'm not going to rehash it because both of you were there. And you know that it was super public.
The audience wasn't there.
Well, there was about, it was super public. There was about 400 people, I would say.
now did you have a bit of like anxiety that it might not go as planned and it would be super awkward in front of the public?
That's a good question, and thank you for asking it. No is
Okay.
the answer. I knew immediately this was the best way to do it, and I knew it was going to go perfect. Yeah. No, I was
Did you clear it with her before?
No.
No.
No. I don't like surprises, but I like to surprise. You know, if that makes sense. So I did not do the thing where you go shopping for the ring together. I picked the ring, and I had no idea if it was to her taste, but this is the ring. And I put thought into it, and I got it. And then I ran into a minor celebrity right after buying it, moments later. And I thought, this is a sign right here. And I'm sitting there talking with the lead singer of Bare Naked Ladies over his coffee preferences at Starbucks. I was like, yep, this is working out.
That's like
It's a good day.
That's a sign right
That's
there.
a sign, yeah. And then, I knew immediately how I wanted to propose. And it took a bit of arranging. It involved, our song being performed publicly. And I did the deed in front of 400 and so people.
You also faked a heart attack. You didn't mention that.
If you fake a heart attack, automatically the other party's going to be more sympathetic.
Yeah.
And also, if you have that much peer pressure, that doesn't hurt you either.
Yeah.
So I knew it was going to go off without a hitch.
It was more, I think probably your anxiety wasn't whether or not she would say yes, but whether you would actually execute the plan, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I didn't have any anxiety.
No.
None. Cool. As actually, I was worried about one thing.
Yeah.
And it went back to that nudist colony wedding that Derek was talking about. Losing the ring. That was my biggest fear.
Oh,
Yeah, because I didn't know if it was safe in my pocket, and I didn't want I kept it in the case because I'm not going to not have it in the case. It's, super expensive item that's already too small.
Yeah.
So I didn't want, this giant bulge in the side of my pocket to be visible. So I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, because when people see a bulge in your pockets, I mean...
Well, out the side. That'd
Yeah.
be a misshapen appendage right there.
Yeah.
I even thought about just keeping it in my mouth. It's like, that's a safe place.
Yeah.
And just like spewing it out when it's time.
There's no way that could go wrong.
We've all spoken very tenderly about our ladies in this episode. So I just want to say this is dedicated to our wives.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
There you go.
You need brownie points for some reason.
Well, she listens for about the first 20 minutes, and we're about that in right now. So
Yeah. There's other things. There's such good TV right now.
So I know my proposal was a bit impulsive, but I still think it was very, like you said, romantic. But if I could do a planned proposal, my thought would be, this is my pitch for my proposal.
All right.
A redo here
A proposal pitch.
would be, we go to the local KFC,
Yes.
and it's not a takeout meal. We're going to sit down.
A gentleman.
We order a bucket of chicken.
Yeah.
About 20 piece, I'm figuring.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And in advance, I have hidden the ring at the bottom of the bucket. So So as my wife is reaching for about her 9th piece,
9th piece. I know your wife. I don't think she's eating 9 pieces of chicken.
well, she's a vegetarian, but okay. But in my fantasy, she eats a lot of meat.
Okay.
All right. So
Back up. You fantasize about your wife just eating meat? That you go to sleep and your wife's gorging on meat?
Yeah, well, yeah, I tell you, it's taken me to completion on multiple occasions. So,
All right.
so anyways,
Bottom of the bucket.
so she's at about her 9th piece. I've eaten about 9, so there's only a couple left in there. She gets to the bottom, and the ring is there. She feels it. She's, what's this? Oh my god! Like there's some sort of piece of metal in here, and she pulls it out, and she looks at it, and then I make some speech. I can't really do it right now. I haven't written it in advance.
Yeah.
And it fits on her fingers so well because it's covered in chicken grease, right?
It just goes on smooth.
And then we just kind of lick off the.
You both lick the ring?
Yeah, I lick the ring. I do my speech, and that's it. Beautiful proposal in a
good.
KFC.
That is
Nobody
good.
that I know of has ever done a proposal in a KFC.
That's good.
I don't know a lot of people who eat in KFCs.
Yeah, you're right. It's not like you go, hey, let's go out for a meal. Let's go sit in the local KFC,
Yeah,
right?
let's go dine there.
Usually, I don't know if KFC could sue us for this, but if you're buying KFC, you're probably going takeout because you don't want people to see you eating it.
Yeah, that's a shame bucket.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I always
what are we
thought,
talking about?
I always thought, action movies, there's like this big, like intense sequence. And then at the end, there's like, a lot of romance there between like the guy and the girl. They have this near death experience and it brings them closer together. You've heard like, I've heard of bachelor parties where you get like, abducted, kind of thing. You go and you like, this is a thing you can pay for, and they like abduct you, like you're getting kidnapped, take you around, they whatever. So maybe there's something in there where you could have a proposal where like your fiance to be gets in some kind of trouble, and you come in and hero her.
Oh, you want to have her
So,
kidnapped.
okay, and she doesn't know.
She doesn't know.
Okay, what if then she goes all commando, manages to grab some sort of gun or a knife,
Yeah,
and
it
just
could go
starts taking
bad.
control and
Stab someone in the eye with a hat pin.
Then you got to come in and you got to have a backup plan on that one. Of,
Right.
let's get the hell out of here into who knows where we're going. You need
You
you're flying
propose
to
that you
somewhere.
disappear a body together.
Yes. What brings you better together than
Digging a grave.
exactly?
So,
yeah.
a lot of variables.
A secret.
Either way, it seems to go well. There's no way that could
So
go
a
bad.
traumatizing event.
A traumatizing event that then you're left with. Do you come clean?
Right.
Or is this like a part of your story that this happened and you just have to live with that secret
And does
for
she
your
ever
life?
know
I
that
don't know.
this was acted? Or
I don't know.
just-
That's what there's multiple ways you could play this out.
So, what if you're driving home one night and you've hired a stuntman to act as a hobo,
Yeah.
and he walks in front of your car and you hit him, and then your secret is that you have to bury, like you have to bury this hobo's body in the bush,
Yeah.
and then you find a ring on him and you propose to her at that point.
Or
That's a really great thing.
Just as you're putting the last the shovel on, his hand comes up with the ring.
Right.
And you're
Oh,
like,
that's romantic.
It is.
all of a sudden, you're like horns come out of the bush and start playing.
And she's been crying the whole time.
Oh man, I wish I could go back and redo mine now. This highway murder proposal is wonderful.
It would be memorable.
It's cutesy, It's got.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing I knew I didn't want to do for a proposal, and that's hide the ring in food.
That's what I did. Or that's not what I did, but it's what I wanted to do.
Well, I thought to myself, like, when I'm eating normally, am I taking a bite, then checking to see if there's a ring in what I'm eating or if there's a ring sticking out of what I just bit from? And the answer is 98% of the time, no. So there's too great a chance that someone's going to choke.
Or I wonder how many people have actually had to poop that ring out Like before they
yeah.
can, you know?
If you didn't get to warn the person ahead of time and it's too late, then that romantic gesture becomes an awkward situation.
Yeah. You're always going to associate that ring with the situation that you had afterwards.
You'd have to take it for a cleaning and then explain to the jewelry store why it's so funky.
Yeah.
You'd blame it on a dog
And
or
you're
something.
only going to lightly dust it off, too,
Yeah,
right?
you're
When
not
you
going
take
to a
it
lot
the
of work if you're
jewelers,
paying someone to clean it. No.
No.
You don't do that work yourself. So yeah, I knew I didn't want to do food, but I was pretty happy with the way I did do it.
Now it's the planning stage.
Yeah.
So many things that have to be done before you actually get married. And some people, like I think you, Trevor, were engaged for like a year and a half or something like
probably
that.
10 years.
It was quite a while.
Yeah. No, a year.
It was
Year
quite
and
a
a
while.
half. Let's call it a year and a half.
Yeah. How about you? Were you engaged for quite a while, Derek?
It was about close to a year. We after Easter we couldn't really get anything for that summer, and we wanted to wait until kind of the next. We didn't want to do full winter, but Easter was close enough that it worked out. But yeah, about a year.
We were engaged for about 6 months, and we didn't know if my wife was going to be able to get back in the country, so we couldn't plan a wedding. So when she was able to get back in the country, we planned it in 6 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Planned it in 6 weeks, executed. We had a very simple wedding.
Yeah.
We, like I said, we got married outside. We didn't bother with a church. We did have a little reception and a dance in a hall, but kept it really simple. So I know a lot of people get really stressed out about it, and they plan and they plan and they plan for over a year. But I think the way to do it is over a shorter period of time, if you can, actually.
Well, I could have done mine in 6 weeks as well, Al, but it took us so long just because I couldn't decide on the invitations, the format and the text.
That is,
once you try to
you're stuck
combine
on the
those two
font.
together,
Serif, sans serif.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Comic Sans, is that appropriate?
Yeah.
I don't know. You got to know
Impact.
your audience.
Yeah.
You got to go with the meme font, right?
And how can I get all of this for almost spending no money? You know, so it's the invitations that's what kills you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to it. Like if you're just going to do your invitations yourself, it's not too hard. But then you start involving your parents, and they say, "Well, you have to invite your Uncle Joe because we were invited to his wedding 3 years ago." There's all sorts of politics that go into it.
That was
There are
an
a lot of
issue.
family
Who do you
politics.
invite and who don't you invite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a tricky thing.
Yeah. And who are you wasting an invite on? Like if I invite this person, are they even going to show up? And then I really put thought into inviting that person over another person. You know,
It's a gamble.
it's a game of chess.
Yeah, for sure. Colors, decorations. Was there a lot of thought put into that? Like, I didn't have a lot to do with it. My wife and my mother took care of a lot of it. Like, I don't even remember what the colors were in our wedding or any
I
of that sort of thing.
suggested grayscale, but it didn't fly. I want a monochrome wedding.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That would be so cool.
Make everyone think that you're in a black and white wedding. You know?
Would you be powdered up too?
Oh
You'd
yeah,
be-
yeah, yep, to the hilt.
Huh.
Yep.
That's great. As long as you don't get cancer from that stuff, because I hear that in The Wizard of Oz, when they were painting people green, that those people they're dead. They're all dead now.
Lead paint will do that. Yeah. Speaking of keeping your pores healthy. Yeah, I don't know. We went with pink and navy, and it worked out. You know, I don't think I chose it necessarily, but it's a big color wheel, and I like them all.
I outsourced most of it.
India to India.
Yeah.
Pretty good. As soon as you hear outsource, you assume India.
Yeah.
We all do. They're such
that's the way
industrious
to do
people.
it.
Yeah.
Why isn't there maybe there are companies in India that you could just outsource the whole planning of the wedding?
Oh, I'm sure there are.
everything?
Yeah.
It's a great way to go.
Pitch guys, wedding planners.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next thing, like when you're choosing who to invite and who not to invite, one of the biggest things is who do you make your wedding party out of? You've collected all these people over your life, you know, who gets to be, who do you make stand up there and sweat, in the heat beside you, and who don't you?
I think we need more economical options, like if you're going to have a lot of people, pick something that's going to be a lot nicer. Pick something you can wear a little bit more often. Or alternatively, in regular life, we need more options to wear these outfits out.
Agreed. Should be all denim.
Yeah, exactly.
Denim weddings.
Denim weddings.
Yeah.
That
We
could
say
be
this
one.
at least once a week to each other. Denim weddings.
That could be one of the pitch guys' choices. Denim wedding is one of the themes.
Yeah.
Is a lot of this because women need to have that one day where they feel a little bit like a princess? Like, a lot of it is about the bride, right?
Nah.
No?
I think you want to, at least I wanted to support making it good for my wife. Like, I wanted the choices that I would make, I'd be like, if this is like makes my wife happy, then go for it. If she would have come and said, I want this dress, it's $5,000, I'd probably say, no, that's not. But like, I can skimp on my own. We didn't have flowers. We didn't have boutonnieres, and everyone was like, what?
It's a bleak
don't
affair.
have flowers? I could spend a couple $100 on a suit and it was okay, but I could wear it to 4 other weddings because we were all groomsmen in each other's weddings, and so we bought one suit for 4 weddings and it was good. It's a different world as a male versus a female, though.
Because your wife probably won't wear her dress.
Not unless
This
she goes for
weekend.
Halloween as like a zombie bride or something. Yeah, that would be poor
would be
taste to wear your wedding dress to a friend's wedding.
Well, I'm just trying to get use out of this thing, right?
I don't know if it's always just for the bride. I was a lot fussier than my wife about our wedding. I was a real groomzilla. I just like to have things just so, and
That seems like
in
a new
control.
hashtag we should use.
Groomzilla.
Groomzilla.
Yeah.
Hashtag Groomzilla.
Hashtag Groomzilla.
Yeah.
Let's get that thing
I'm sure
going.
someone
Yeah.
said it before, but it's ours. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like she's very easygoing, and she had her ideas of what she wanted, and respectable wedding with some dignity. But I was pretty fussy about some details.
Well, and you got married and then you basically immediately left.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
We spent most of our money just on our honeymoon. We like traveling, so
and that's what you
we
should
called in a
spend
lot of
your money on.
favors.
Yeah.
We got some nice-hearted sap to do our photography for free. We got another person who did our cupcake for free. And that was basically all the catering was the cupcakes. So we saved a lot of money just from favors from friends and just keeping it simple.
Yeah.
And then we just spent an outrageous amount on the honeymoon.
Now you went to Europe.
Yeah.
Did you immediately leave for Europe? Like it was basically like
Yep. Drove off.
right to the airport?
Squealed tires. Yep.
Yeah. Did you actually squeal them?
I
smoke
tried
show?
to, but I drive a Journey, so I didn't pull it off.
Is that an all-wheel drive?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Difficult then.
Yeah.
So
I don't make that much money.
So, did you drive directly? Like you were at the church, you left the church, you waved at everybody, and you got in the vehicle and you drove directly to the airport.
I don't
from
recall waving.
There? You didn't wave?
No.
I wasn't there. I had to miss it. But
She may have waved. I don't know. We were bagpiped out, and then we got in the vehicle, and then I just gunned it. Yeah. We're
you
done.
just roared out
Couldn't
of
get out of
That event was done, and we were gone.
and then you wrapped the car around a light post about less
10
than
meters away. I wanted to put the cans behind the car.
Oh, yeah.
Like you see that in
gotta
movies, the
do
can?
it.
Well, I didn't because I was scared. Like, I don't know if they're going to bounce up and smack like the crap out of my bumper. I don't know if one's going to come loose. I thought one might come off and then lodge in the windshield of a vehicle behind us. And then that vehicle goes off the road and then we're responsible for some manslaughter situation 20 minutes after our wedding.
Who does the cans, honestly? Did you have confetti at your wedding?
No, confetti's not allowed.
It's not allowed.
It kills birds.
Oh.
Same
Or does
price.
confetti kill birds?
No, it just makes a mess.
You know
Oh,
what they
right, it makes a mess.
You know what
Rice
they
kills
should
birds.
allow instead of
We had bubbles.
What they should allow instead of confetti are those things that hold like 6 packs of pop together.
Oh,
You know,
rings.
like the plastic ring.
Yeah, there's no fish at
Throw
weddings.
those in the
You
air.
should be able to throw those up,
Just
right?
whip them up in the air.
Many of those you can get a hold of.
Or just start lighting things on fire.
Everybody has a little firecracker or an air horn, maybe.
Give all the kids a little barbecue lighter and let them go light things up.
Yeah.
I actually watched an episode of some show where someone had admitted that they wanted so-and-so to be their bridesmaid because they thought they would look better on their wedding day next to so-and-so.
Wow.
And that was one of the coldest things I ever heard.
That is horrible.
Yeah.
I hope they didn't actually tell that person that.
I imagine this person did.
And then they picked the just worst dress ever, right?
Pumpkin
Yeah.
shaped.
Deliberately making your wedding party look terrible to bump yourself in.
Yeah.
How about the actual union, the ceremony?
Yes.
You got married naked in the forest, so it wasn't very stressful for you.
Well, it wasn't a city park, so we weren't naked by
okay.
any means.
Natural.
We had an 80-year-old justice of the peace that married us,
Yeah.
and I cried like a baby.
Well,
I've never watched the video because I don't
like you
think
got
I
on your
could-
back and kicked your feet in the air.
Yeah, and I shit my pants too. So then I had my wife change me.
Yeah,
and
baby powder and the whole bit, and then back to the vows.
Real awkward.
I had to wait in a little room because I didn't walk down the aisle. You know, the bride does that, the bridesmaid, the whole party walked down the aisle together. But I was off to the side, like I was going to get unveiled in this little room. And it wasn't bad. Like I was okay hanging out in there and just drinking my tap water and, you know, waiting for my moment. But the only problem is I couldn't hear anything going on. So I didn't know if like my cue had already gone off. So I kept kind of half stepping out and I was like, I don't want to go at the wrong time. So then I kind of made up my mind, okay, if I don't hear like my cue in the next 30 seconds, I'm just going to bull rush into the church and hope that that's the right time.
So, were you peeking out? They could see you. It was like
It was hard to peek with where I was, because if you peeked around, people are going to see you.
Yeah.
You know? So no, I didn't peek. I just
Seems like a flaw in the church design. They should have a speaker back there.
well, I just needed to have
like
trusted
green
them
room
because they did
something.
come and grab me and it worked out fine.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah,
They just come and grab you, and you're kind of like looks like you've been sleeping.
Yeah.
You know, like-
Slightly disheveled.
got to put your clothes back on and go out there.
Yeah.
One of the things I was looking forward to, I'm ashamed to say this, but I'm
Yeah.
kind of materialistic. I like getting presents.
Oh,
You know,
wedding gifts.
yeah. Like I didn't, you know, if somebody didn't bring a gift, that's fine by me. But I was excited for gifts. You know,
It's like, so Trevor, on like Christmas Day when
Yeah.
you were 10 years old,
Yeah.
and you're like just ripping paper open.
oh
and-
yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would even beat the children up the stairs at my age still just to open gifts. So yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I went through a marriage just to get gifts, but they're a nice bonus.
Yeah, but when you're 10 years old and it's Christmas and you're opening up a package and you're getting a Nintendo 64, that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
When you're 25 or 30 years old and you're opening up a package and getting your fourth toaster, it's not quite
Same
as
feeling.
exciting. No?
It's a rush.
I didn't get a Nintendo for my wedding.
No, I didn't either.
No. But that would be cool.
Yeah, an all
There's
video
some
game gift wedding.
gifts. Like
Yeah.
if you actually gave video game consoles or
Yeah.
things like that, can you put that on your wedding list? You know how some people have their shopping
I think it
list.
would depend on your relationship with your wife.
Yeah.
If I tried to put it on, my wife would have slapped me.
You can go
probably.
register at Best Buy. That'd be all right. Yeah. No, that's a good idea.
I find the whole gifting process to be awkward myself. I think a lot of people put a lot into the wedding gift, and there's a lot of thought into things, and I don't want to open it in front of you. I don't want to like let you down the amount that you've put into this gift if I'm not jiving with it as much as you think I'm going
get
to.
socks.
We opened all of ours, and we had a gift viewing after the fact where you could come and see all the stuff that we opened.
But you didn't do it in front of people?
No,
You're right, because that's like a show.
because I
right?
don't want
Yeah.
I don't want to sit there while everybody watches me open a gift and me have to stay in character that I love everything and I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
And so that was and my wife does not like being in front of attention either. So
But that could be a whole thing to the wedding, is to make a show of it.
Mm-hmm.
You have the wedding gifts there and you have to overreact. Like
Oh,
when you
yeah.
open that fourth toaster,
Yeah.
you are losing your mind.
You got to punch a hole through a wall.
thank gosh.
Yeah.
That would actually be an interesting activity for the gift opening is however you react for the first gift,
Yeah.
you have to double it with every gift after that, no matter what it is. You know, you just got to go off the hook.
And
when it's like your 10th
whoever's
gift.
handing you the gift just
Yeah.
messes with you. They just
Yeah.
get more and more
And-
a pencil.
You also have to use the item before you open the next gift. So you have to toast the toast. You got to use the mixer. You got to use the blender. You got to vacuum if you get a vacuum. You know, somebody decides to be funny and get you erotic stuff.
You got to use it.
You got to use it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So the overreacting and the using. Oh, you know what's
we
kind of
do
more
gifts.
awkward than just people watching you open gifts? Right after the ceremony, the receiving line that you see at some weddings, you know?
Oh,
Like, yeah, we just saw you in that room, but I want you to come see me again now that we're different, right?
I think this is
Come
actually,
meet the new me.
It's so damn awkward. It's not my thing. I don't want to have to do that. I don't mind going up to that person, congratulating them later, but to wait in line and then shake hands with every single person that's in the line.
And everyone has a conversation too. Like you have to wait for a conversation to end so you can step a half step more forward and shake the hand. You're just sitting there ready with your hand ready to go. But so-and-so who hasn't seen the bride or groom for like 8 years is just finally catching up.
Yeah.
You know, it's a family reunion going on in front of you. And I, at my own, like we had a receiving line because we didn't know how to transition from one to the other without it. We just didn't know. So I got into this weird habit where I hugged someone for some reason. And I don't normally hug everyone, but I was like, well, I can't not hug the next person.
Yeah.
And I didn't know the next person as well, but I still gave them a hug. And it's like, well,
And
I'm
then
locked in now.
You're caught up in
And
a
then
moment.
you started kissing people full on the
Yeah.
mouth,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's like,
You got to amp the affection up every time.
Awkward.
But I'm hugging everybody, and I didn't know how to stop.
So maybe instead of a receiving line, to like break that down, we, you know, after your wedding, normally you rush out to pictures, maybe something like that. But maybe you set aside like an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And on your wedding invitation, you get like your time slot. Your 1 minute is at
oh, yeah.
2:53.
Appointment.
And then you know, like if
Disneyland Fast Pass.
okay, someone's there,
Yeah.
clocking it. But then you know, if Uncle Joe doesn't show up, well,
Well, you could try for
Screw him.
the next time
It's
slot.
really good.
Yeah.
Is there a machine that you go through to get your fast pass?
I think
too,
so.
when you get there?
maybe, or is it prioritized based on like family preference?
Yeah.
I want to give these people the first hit there. I want to get my hugs out before I get my awkward
Family
handshake.
preference.
I was thinking more like a traditional reception line, but people have to draw a little ticket, and every so many tickets has a little mark on it. And if you get that mark, you have to punch the groom in the nuts. And so the groom never knows if you're the person that's going to be hugging them or punching them in the nuts. And it's just a lot of fun for everybody.
Adds a little fun tension to it.
Right? Like you never know. And next thing you know, you're punching grandma in the stomach, trying to prevent.
Jeez.
Does the groom have to like open the ticket to see what you're gonna get?
It's a bit of a random violence receiving line. I'd like to see people just run through the receiving line too. Like it's just a bunch of high fives, you know, and just bolt through it. Or getting married in a airport concourse, because then all your guests would just be on one of those moving sidewalks, and they just go past you.
Yeah.
You just shake their hand as they're moving
They
past.
can't stop, right?
If they
just
try,
have to
then they
stay-
like ran into the person behind them, and then it turns into an old jumble.
Yeah.
But that would be convenient if you could have a moving sidewalk.
Or just put it at the end of a water slide or near the end of a water
yeah.
slide. So basically they've got
Yeah, go to a nearby
Half a
playground
second.
and use a slide.
Yeah.
Or water park.
water spark, and that goes into like the whole like trash the dress kind of like phenomenon. You know, you just like get married, run down a water slide. You know, you get a photo op there.
So you've been married. It's time for the banquet.
Yeah.
It's later in the evening. You've had your photos taken.
Yeah.
It's back at it.
You made it through that gauntlet that is the wedding,
Yeah.
the reception line.
Yeah.
Arguably the thing about weddings that people look forward to the most, I think.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
It's it's probably the thing that costs the most, really.
Yeah.
You've got the cost of the meal, and then some people feel like they need to include alcohol in that. That's a real cost, right?
I've
there.
never been to an open bar wedding.
You haven't.
Never. It's never been a free liquor kind of situation.
Never once in your
You
life.
see it in the movies, but I've never been to that situation in my life. Sometimes it's a loony bar or a toonie bar,
Huh.
which is pretty great.
Well, my mother and father, their contribution to the wedding, they said we will not have a wedding where one of our children gets married where people have to pay for drinks.
Oh,
So
got nice parents.
I've been at many a wedding with an open bar.
Yeah.
And it can be often quite wasteful.
Yes.
It's easy to get drinks, and it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of sex that happens at those weddings.
Wow.
I mean,
And you have more weddings.
mostly with little people. But
Yeah.
Oh my God.
so food, what do you serve at the wedding? Like, I know traditionally a lot of roast beef.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Roast beef. When people have been sitting already for a while, you want to get them full of beef so they feel like they have energy to dance. Yeah.
I was once at a taco wedding.
Wow.
I quite enjoyed that. You know?
I was at a wedding once where they, as the evening, like the late lunch or whatever it's called, they ordered like 400 McDonald's cheeseburgers.
That's nice. That's classic.
Wow.
You could just go get a bunch of cheeseburgers.
That's great.
Were they warm?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know. They must have had a big oven.
Well,
somewhere.
I've worked at a McDonald's, and to prepare 400 cheeseburgers takes some time.
Yeah, I don't know how it happened.
your story doesn't hold up all of a sudden.
I think this is absolute BS.
Are you lying
sure
to
this
impress
actually
us?
happened?
I'm dead serious.
I mean, I think chicken or pizza would be a little bit easier.
I
but
could get
like,
behind that. I don't like full meals at weddings. I like, appetizers and little cocktail snack. I like miniature versions of real food, like cocktail weenies and squares, which are really just small cakes
anything with a tiny weenie goes over really well at
Yeah.
a wedding.
wrapped in a blanket.
Yeah. If it's wrapped in bacon
Yeah,
and then in dough.
yeah.
Yeah, so basically anything in a blanket with a pork product.
You put anthrax in a blanket with bacon, I'm still going to eat it.
Yeah. So what about the banquet? You've had the meal. It's time for that reception. And one of the things that I don't enjoy is when the bride and the groom decide that they should show you a PowerPoint. Now that sounds like a good idea, but it's when the PowerPoints are 25 minutes long
Feel like you're
that
in a
I have
board
the
meeting.
problem. Like, for crying out loud, you keep that to one song, please.
Yeah.
Like 3 songs is a bit much.
And it's usually, you can tell that they really had their heart set on the one song they chose for the PowerPoint, and then the other 2 are just filler songs because they went over. You see a definite drop in quality from the first song to the second.
I think you could do a combo of 3 songs, but maybe not the entire song. I like the I think that my wife and I would have different theme songs if I had to think about our theme songs growing up. And so I might have 40 seconds, a minute long.
Yeah,
of
but
a
they
theme
should be in the
song.
same key.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So that you can go
same
between
tempo.
them. Yeah.
What are people showing in these PowerPoints? I'm just going along with this because I didn't do this at my wedding, but what is a PowerPoint for?
The typical one
highlight
is
reel of
you
my
start
life.
with the bride's childhood, and it can go on forever. I've seen some where there are 3 songs on the bride.
Do they show
and then-
like the bride escaping the womb? first
Yeah, they start
slide.
with that.
That would be an interesting
Ultrasound is the very first one.
And then you have the groom's story, and then you have the story of how they met.
The together
oh,
story.
It's so brutal, actually, by the time it's done. I think, when you get married in a church, you have to take a wedding prep class. Well, another rule should be you have to take a class in video editing because
Yeah, I like that idea.
it's,
If you can't do a proper fade dissolve, get the hell out.
Exactly. Some of these things are going on a little too long.
If all you're using are star wipes, then you have no business getting married.
And I can't count the number of weddings that I've been at where they can't seem to figure out the technical right up to the moment that they have to play this thing on a screen. So
It's always like your Aunt Judy or something that has never used a MacBook in her life, and she's trying to get this thing plugged in, and they don't have the right connector. And then they're asking like the video guy, can you make this thing work? And they're not getting paid to do that. Actually at our wedding, we were we had this newer video company that was filming the day. And they had this new thing they wanted to do. And so they pitched it to us like, can we try this? It might not happen, but if it does, can we show it? And we, I like video, so I thought that was cool. So what they did is they actually
they
had
did a remake of Apocalypse Now.
yeah, and it was
great.
incredible.
Yeah.
No, they had, I don't know, some guy sitting in a van all day while they were shooting, and they just fire him off memory cards. and then he cut down the entire, like all the wedding ceremony into like a 3-minute highlight reel, and they played it at the reception. So in like 2 hours, they edited down this highlight reel of the day. And that was kind of neat to like look back. And because I think when you're getting married, everything's happening. There's so much stuff happening that you can't remember what's actually happened. So looking back it was kind of neat to look back on the day.
It makes me teary-eyed just thinking about it, but it also makes me teary-eyed from the perspective of a person who edits video.
Oh, yeah.
Knowing how stressful that would actually be.
It would be a terrible job to have to do it, to have that ready to go in time for the ceremony, but for the reception.
They say that the wedding goes by so fast that you should just kind of take moments to pause and take it all in. And I heard that before my wedding. So during my wedding, I really made it a point to sometimes, even during like crucial moments in the ceremony, just to kind of almost black out and just stare off into space and really just absorb everything.
Or just stop awkwardly and stare at people. And
there was a 12-minute wait before I said I do, just because I really wanted to drink in the whole day, you know?
Create some suspense.
Just remember this. But yeah, part of the fun of weddings is that you get to see people given these jobs where they are not qualified for these jobs. Yeah. And then you get the fun of watching all these people have to get up in front of like 300 people. And these are like people who would not even normally talk to their dog, have to do like a speech.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the fun for me.
How about MCs that are inappropriate? Have you ever had somebody get up or seen somebody get up in front of the mic that's telling jokes that have no business being at a wedding?
I have been an inappropriate MC a bit of the time, but I'll usually rein myself in sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you get an MC who's like, you know, buddies with the groom but doesn't read the wife's family well, and they're very conservative or something, and then just does not play well. And
too many vagina jokes.
Yeah. Wow,
yeah, exactly.
I like when the groomsman or like the best man or whatever, who's clearly like 5 minutes away from not really being in the couple's life anymore, starts telling old like college stories, and you can see the groom's face change quickly. Like he can't get to him to stop him, but he clearly does not want these stories to be told.
So maybe there's a feature there in the Pitch Guys, wedding organizing, where under the table, you know, like at a bank or something, you have an emergency button that calls the cops. You just have a mute button, or you can just like the XLR cable runs right under the table, and you can just unplug it.
And a cut button.
It pipes in some already canned speech.
Yeah.
We could have a service where we actually write these generic canned speeches.
Safe speeches.
Yeah.
It just starts auto playing as soon as you have to press like that drunk uncle switch to shut off whoever's speaking.
Exactly. We could even sell them actually so that when the person comes up, all they have to do is just keep moving their mouth.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they don't have to worry about it.
Just a watermelon.
Yeah, exactly. And it would be funny. We'd have amusing some stories.
They'd be heartwarming and generic.
This is a side business for us here.
Yeah. So safe speeches for weddings. That's a pitch we've got.
One of the other things that in that reception that I always have a hard time with is like an open mic. Like I've been to a few where it's been like, okay, now for the next hour, we're going to have an open mic where anyone can tell stories about the bride or groom. Yeah. And you have no clue.
And do they all speak with that vague, obscure accent?
That's just the MC.
Now that you've all been drinking a while, we would like anyone who's got anything to get off their chest just to come up to the mic.
Grievances. And I feel like that's
I've done that when I've had a few drinks in me and have regretted it instantly. Like it was the worst mistake I ever made. But
you have to feel okay to just say, you know what, everyone, I've made a grave error coming up here. I'd like to walk away now. And I'm sorry for you wasting your time. I was going to say some words, but I've had a pants malfunction.
But, but earlier, I mean, we're all more distinguished. But like earlier, you could go to a wedding and you could probably make some comments like that and it would be forgotten. But now everyone's got it on the on the YouTube, and you can relive that moment again and again and
everything's
again.
recorded.
And how annoying is that? The people that feel that they have to take their vertical video of you, like I mean,
it's always vertical video.
Turn the phone sideways. It's not hard. Widescreen.
People that have to live their moments through their phone, and they're so busy like getting their crappy iPhone photos of you in the wedding ceremony and the speeches and everything. Just settle down and watch the goddamn thing.
It's fun when you pay like $6,000 for photos, like some people have to at these weddings,
Yeah.
and then they look back and there's somebody's tablet blocking the groom. So like your aunt had the tablet up in the air just to get a shot right when they were saying "I do," right in the photographer's face.
Okay, this is kind of an aside, but what is it with old people and tablets being used as
Who
cameras?
takes your tablet along as your primary phone?
It sounds like an
Take your
unfair
old
stereotype,
point and click more than your tablet.
but it's a fact.
You know,
Yeah,
you got people with iPad Pros now
Yeah.
that are taking photos at your wedding.
You got people
It's as
cracking
big as
a MacBook
laptop
open.
screen here. What about the cake?
What about the cake?
I feel like there's two versions of cake,
Yeah.
cake consumption. There's like,
Yeah.
you just go up, you cut your cake, you each have a slice, move along. Or there's like the just obscene, we got to smash it into each other's face. kind of
Oh,
thing. And
we didn't do that.
you know, we did not either, because my
Yeah.
wife would have punched me if I would
Yeah.
have shoved cake into her face.
Just get it up into their nostrils.
First of all, consent. Like,
Yeah.
come on. Like,
Consent,
it's-
yeah, you need
it's
to
2019.
ask.
Let's go with the rules. But second of all, like,
Could you
I don't
imagine?
want cake all over my face. What the hell's wrong
No.
with me?
No,
So
it's not even fun for a second after it hits you.
Why does it have to be cake? I mean, we talked about chicken earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
Why couldn't it just be a big bucket of wedding chicken?
You don't want to do it.
bucket of wedding chicken.
You don't want to do a KFC smash.
Then you're rubbing a drumstick in your wife's face.
Essentially on the forehead.
Oh, you! And, or you can't see it, but right now I'm actually miming the rubbing of the drumstick into my wife's face.
He's pushing an invisible chicken
No way that
drumstick
could
at
go
me.
over poorly. That would be-
You're just like locking arms and feeding each other a chicken, a whole miniature chicken.
Maybe the roast chickens from the grocery
Yeah,
stores, right?
a little hen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be cake.
There's
Wedding
definitely gotta be
chickens.
some options for other foods.
I'd like to do a where you just slam back a pint instead of eating the cake. You know, you just make all your new family
Wedding shots.
watch you just drink a glass boot of your favorite lager, and then they know what kind of person you're going
I
to
think
be.
that's good.
Yeah. After all that food and all that cake and all you've had all drinking and you've been sitting for that long, and then you get the best part of the wedding where you have to get up and dance for your family.
Oh,
and you don't know how to dance.
No, I don't.
No.
Not at all.
No. You know a box step, you know maybe a middle school dance where you just
Yeah.
shuffle back and forth, but that's all you have to work with.
See, my wife and I practiced for quite some time
Wow.
ahead of time to make sure we had like a nice
Yeah.
waltz going on.
I remember your dance. It was pretty graceful.
We worked on it.
Yeah. I remember at one point things slowed right down and somebody threw a rose in the middle of your dance and you caught it in your teeth.
Yeah.
And then you dipped your wife.
It was like a little bit of theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the awkward point of the night, for I remember, is that when should the bride and the groom leave? Now, some people say, it's our party, we'll stay for the whole night, blah.
Yeah.
But it used to be, it was quite traditional that the bride and groom would leave early on in the evening. And I think that was largely because probably at one point in time, at least in the 60s and 70s, there was a good chance that maybe they'd actually never had sex before together.
They get out of there. And
Yeah, because they needed to do that. They needed to
Wow.
consummate it.
I never thought about that.
But now they stay right to the end because,
yeah.
for the most part, I believe they've consummated.
Yeah. Or if
Yeah.
you're William Wallace in Scotland in the Dark Ages, you want to get out of there before the feudal lord comes and enacts his rights to prima nocta. Takes your bride off into the woods, and that's a bummer for any wedding. So I thought that's why they ran out of there.
Interesting reference there.
Yeah. I just watched Braveheart the other week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For us, I was like, we paid for a party. I want to be here till the end. So I want to be the lot. If someone is ready to keep going until we get kicked out, I want to be there with that person who's ready to keep going. So we did stay until I don't know whenever it was done.
So you probably didn't miss the obligatory playing of Rah Rah Rasputin.
no, of course not.
No, I mean, that
I was there singing. I was belting it out.
Yeah.
And somebody was holding your arms while
I
you
was
were
getting,
doing the
I was
kick.
jumping
Yeah.
and kicking.
There's a few songs that need to disappear from weddings, I think. And I would like to pitch out that Mambo No. 5 never gets played at any wedding ever again.
Yeah.
I leave a wedding when that plays. If I don't care whose wedding it is. I don't care if it's early in the night, late in the night. I leave when that song starts to
I'm
play.
going to request it as the first song in every wedding.
I'll be gone early. Well, for us, I left my wedding real early. I mean, I left when the bride left, which was, I thought, a good choice.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
We made tracks quick. We wanted to just go and do the honeymoon.
Well, and to be fair, you were in the bathroom for probably a good 2 hours after the ceremony, weren't you?
Yeah.
And most of the time.
A lot of that food didn't sit well. Yeah. I think it would be more interesting in how the bride and groom leave the wedding.
Oh, okay.
You know? Do they run full tilt out?
Yeah, that would be good.
Do you have an exit dance?
Yeah. Or they have to fight for their life to get out.
Yeah, you got to fight your guests to leave. That would be interesting.
Everybody's at the door and you've got to fight your way through.
They're physically trying to restrain you and you have to fight your way out of your wedding. That would be an entertaining activity.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like it.
You're clotheslining people if you're new bride.
Yeah.
Also, like, interesting vehicles taking off in a Batman vehicle or the Batmobile. You know, the Ghostbusters Echo 1.
Yes.
You know?
A space shuttle.
Yeah. Not a Hummer limo. That's just kind of douchey, but, you know. Gold rocket car. Oscar Mayer wiener wagon.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the bride and groom leave the church with like this huge, like, you know, seeing them off, a parade of people and just like, goodbye, everyone, goodbye. And then they don't even have a vehicle arranged and they just walk down the street awkwardly.
Yes.
You know, like, we'll see you later. They don't even have a car.
Or you get out to the front of the church, they've thrown the illegal confetti at you or the pop bottle plastic thingies that we talked about.
Pop rings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then somebody pulls up in a DeLorean and he gets out and he says, Trevor, you have to come with us. It's your kids.
Yeah.
And then you
didn't even know you were going to have kids.
No.
You're already solving future time problems, just trying to leave your wedding.
So some people forego this entire process. They say, you know what? We're not going to do this. We're going to go get married in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
We're going to go get married in Hawaii or we're going to go get married in, I don't know.
Transylvania.
Moose Jaw.
Yeah.
Like destination weddings.
Yeah. Stratford.
So,
yeah.
So the destination wedding, what do you guys think? Do you think, would you ever do it?
Every like person I talked to before my own wedding said that they would rather have not have done their wedding and would have rather have just gone away and eloped. So I don't know. In retrospect, I think a lot of people decide it's a good idea. I was happy with how things went down, but I get the appeal of it. And I've been to a destination wedding before. You know, it's exotic. It's nice. It's like a vacation. It can be trouble if you trap people who don't really know each other or mesh well together, I guess. But I don't know.
It's also kind of financially constraining to ask people to come to your wedding and spend a couple $1,000s to do that.
Yeah,
I think it nullifies your favorite part, Trevor, of the gifts. Because just
less gifts than
showing up at my wedding is
your presence is their
more
present.
than I'm asking.
Yeah,
I think we need more like just we call it destination weddings, but they're just like. It's like a cabin in the bush, like just outside of town. It's like, you know, we call these like mundane things destination weddings when really it's not destination at all, but
still a destination.
Yeah.
The basement at the YMCA or something, you know, it's just, this is it.
Yeah.
Right. A safe injection site.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's a destination.
It's a destination.
People have probably not been there before, most of them.
7-Eleven, you can all have Slurpees after.
Yeah.
It's still a destination.
Yeah.
You know, one thing we haven't worked into this episode that is quite common to pitch guys is dolphins.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering if you have any ideas as to how we might incorporate dolphins into a wedding.
If you had a tropical wedding and you were getting married like waist high in the ocean, if you could somehow arrange for an even number of dolphins to show up and just line up beside you as your wedding party, that would be amazing.
Oh, it would be.
And then they shoot little fountains of water into the air right after you say "I do."
Maybe you could do like on a dock kind of wedding, but then you could have a couple options. You know, like Free Willy's, like just like breaking over the just jumps you and
so
smashes
romantic,
and you'll get splashed.
Yeah.
Or maybe like you know you and your bride are just standing there at the edge of the dock, and the dolphins come up and like. You know, they can kind of pick you up and push you as you lean forward. You know, that could be a thing.
You could have a
or you do it. It was just because you do it in a SeaWorld in Victoria, and then the orca drags you down to the bottom several times playfully until it almost drowns you.
Yeah.
That'd be fun too.
Yeah.
A submerged
That's
wedding.
a little blackfish reference.
I haven't
there.
seen that yet.
Oh well, you should. It's must see viewing.
I'd like to see, you know like Kiss cruises where everyone wears Kiss paint and you meet the band Kiss. A Kiss themed wedding would be interesting.
Oh, so we're now into themes now.
Cyberpunk wedding. Well, I think a theme can be a destination in your mind.
Have you guys been to a theme wedding? I have not.
No, I have.
You have?
I've been to a movie themed wedding.
Okay.
They didn't go too far over the top, but there's definitely a movie theme to the whole wedding. Yeah.
Cool.
I've heard of Star Wars themed weddings.
It seems like a good idea.
Star Wars?
Right.
Yeah.
There's so many things you could do.
Yeah.
I mean, from Avatar to
Yeah.
Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yeah.
If it was like a second wedding, you could call it the squeakquel, you know? You could just you could work through it.
That's a nod to another Pitch Guys episode.
Yes.
I'd like to see an Alf wedding where everyone's just dressed like Alf.
Yeah.
80s lovable icon Alf.
So what you
And
wanna
then
do
one
is-
person takes it too far and eats a cat. It just puts a damper on the day.
So we need to pick
A red wedding.
obscure. Oh wow.
Game of Thrones themed wedding.
Yeah, you have like the guy from Coldplay popping up in the band at the top,
Yeah.
playing the Reigns of Castamere or whatever, and then shooting an arrow through your heart.
That'd be all right.
That would be.
I
kind
bet
of
you there have been
interesting.
Game of Thrones themed weddings by
Uh-huh.
now.
Cosplay weddings, yeah.
Yeah. Smurf wedding. Everyone's blue.
Yeah,
You know?
and it's mandatory.
Yeah. You don't show up
Yeah.
if you're not blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you show up and you're not blue enough, you
Yep.
get beaten
Yep.
within an inch of your life.
Wow. Oh, wedding bouncers. That's a pitch right there. You know, I've always thought there's always these concerns about so-and-so, watch them so they don't drink too much, or let's make sure so-and-so doesn't get to the mic. What if you had wedding bouncers? Event staff that actually you can make the cut symbol
That
or
would be a
sign
good
and
idea.
they can take someone away from the mic if need be.
Would they be like in plain clothes? So you just think that they're another party guest?
Oh,
or would
no.
they,
No, I
be
think they got to wear the black shirt with the neon letters on it
Yeah.
because then people know there's security at this wedding.
Yeah.
It's a deterrent.
They need to be big.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh, just outrageously big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Write it right out.
Roided right out of the gourd. You need some roided out freaks at your wedding if you want it to run smoothly.
Thanks for listening. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. Check us out on Twitter at Pitch Guys or Facebook at Pitch Guys Podcast. Theme music for this episode is Aces High by Kevin MacLeod.